Hello everyone, Lily here. Welcome to my channel, and for those returning viewers, welcome back. And today I thought I would do another deck comparison of the US Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, along with comparing it to another recolored, redrawn version. And the one I'm featuring today is the Golden Rider. And this was a deck that was recolored in the 1990s, I believe, by a French painter, François Tapernou. Now, I don't have the exact copyright. The little white book actually doesn't mention it, but I believe it was in the 1990s somehow. And as we can see from the colors, we can actually see the era that it was painted in, because there was a lot of gold and a lot of colors that if you look back at decorating magazines from that time, we see a lot of the colors reflected. And when I found out about this deck, I actually went on a little bit of a search. I only knew one person that had it, and unfortunately she didn't live near me, so I could never get a really good look at it. And by the time I started looking for it, it had gone out of print, and it was already fetching quite a few dollars. So I decided to see if I could get another version in another language, and fortunately for me, I could get one in French that was a little bit cheaper at the time. And since French is my mother tongue, that wasn't a problem, although I don't think knowing French is necessary if you're already familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, because obviously, it's a clone. The only thing that's been done is the colors have been changed and, unfortunately, the lines redrawn. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by showing you the backs. Here is the standard played back by US game that's been published for, I'm not exactly sure, since the 1970s, and the colors and background chosen for the Golden Rider. So if I could pick a preference, I actually prefer this. I mean, this is getting old-fashioned, but it is what it is. So let's start with the major arcana. Although I do like the recoloring, just like the Pamela Coleman Smith complaints that I had, this is the complaint that I have with this one as well, is that with having the lines redrawn, we lose some of the expression, the facial expressions, and some of the details. Now, that could be attributed to the medium that he used. I believe he actually painted this. So the level of detail might have been more difficult than using actual drawings. But some of the details, even in the dress, is gone. We don't really recognize what's on the bag here. This dog looks like a puppy. And as I go through the cards, I'm not going to repeat the same complaint that I have, because I do have a problem with this deck, and it's the level of detail that was lost in the redrawing of it. And this is a good example as well, is we lost the detail in his robe, we lost the shadows in his robe, the facial expression was affected. Some of here, the flowers, they just look like blobs. Like the detail, like this is, even though, the colors are garish in this one, the level of detail that was translated, like in the flowers here, is a lot more appealing to my eyes than this. This looks like paint was slapped on and somebody called it a day. So like I mentioned, as I go along, I'm not going to be repeating these complaints as long as it's so garish. So I'll probably, when I don't have anything to say, I'll just move on to the next card until there is something that I want to say that's so blatant that I need to comment on it. Actually, and I'm commenting already, you see, in this card, actually, I think he actually did a pretty good job, considering. I mean, look at the level of detail in the veil in the back. And I'd go even so far to say that this one looks better than this one. So it was achievable. Although she looks way too happy than this one here. You know, this one, she looks very serious. Here she looks like she's having a good time. Here's another facial expression where did not translate very well. This, you know, looks like a man who's in control, who knows what's going on. And there's also the character that's showing in this face. You know, you won't go up to this man and lie to him. Where here, some of that fierceness was lost. And let's look at this one over here. I'm not sure if he was trying to put an eyeshadow on the eyes, but you know, it ended up looking like she looks like she's got a black eye. And here's one here as well, where we can't tell what the expression is. It actually looks more like a Halloween mask than a child's face. And here's one of the worst cards, I think, in the deck. And this is the Angel. I mean, come on. The eyes look weird. Looks like it's a ghost looking at you. The facial expression here actually isn't too bad. But the Angel, I find, like the head and the hair, It, yeah, it looks weird. And now on to the wands. And actually here, this one actually is another one of those cards that I think isn't too bad considering, you know, the facial expression. Although the lines are a little bit more exaggerated, I think you still get the feeling that the person got up in a hurry and, you know, is wondering like, what is going on? And here we get to the court cards where, again, because of the lines, you know, the expression got mangled, or the face, you know, the proportions look out of place. The, you know, ratio from the eyes to the mouth doesn't quite work. Well, like the Pamela Coleman Smith, my big complaint is that the King of Wands here, again, you know, the expression from fierce to not fierce. Something was lost. And to me, that is very important when I do a reading, because I want to see this face. This tells me a lot more than this. And now to the Pentacles. And actually, apart from the detail and blah 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 that I, you know, keep repeating myself with, I actually like the fact that he actually used the color gold for the Pentacles. Mind you, the technology in those days probably didn't exist, so they picked yellow, but I actually like the coloring that he put in here. Here she looks like she's got a mustache. And now the swords. See, this is another example actually where I think he actually did a good job, and it actually looks better than the original. And I like that he kept sort of a goldish color of the sarcophagus, I guess you could call it, or effigy. I do not like this face at all. There's something about the pinched look that, I don't know. I would not, I don't know what to say actually. And like the Pamela Coleman Smith, this is my litmus test for what makes or break the recoloring of a deck, and it's the King of Swords. You know, the fierceness we see here, just like the King of Wands, was lost in translation. This, you don't want to pick an argument with this guy. This one, I try it. And now on to the cups. And actually, you know what? The Two of Cups here, they actually did a good job, I think. The expressions, even though the lines are a little bit thicker, the facial expressions haven't changed too much. I think they're pretty close to the original. And I think this is the card that originally sold me on the deck, on wanting to acquire. I think I saw this card, I saw the wonderful, what they did with the coloring here in this card compared to, you know, the US writer. And, you know, I really like this card. I probably say it's probably one of my favorites because I like the gradation of color from purple, pink to the yellows. And here's one of those cards too where they actually omitted something. Like if you look at here, there's always the impression you could either look at the little girl's face or you actually see the old woman in her hair. And here it was completely ignored. And we're down to the last card. So these are my final thoughts on this deck. Just like the Pamela Coleman Smith deck, I like the coloring actually. You know, the coloring is what sold me originally on the deck, because I do like the colors that they used and the colors that, you know, they chose and how they reimagined some of the coloring of the cards. I actually like that a lot. Again, my problem is always that they've redrawn the lines and something was lost when they redrew those lines. And unfortunately for me, the disadvantages of redrawn lines outweigh my appreciation of the colors that they did in recoloring the deck. So I think this deck will end up in my going away pile, unfortunately. But anyway, I thought I'd present this to you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments against, for anything I had to say, please do comment and let me know. I'd appreciate it. So with that, I'm just going to leave it here. Wish you a good day, and until next time.